the heck is going on? And I see that it starts to get like after 15 minutes of posting, it had like 3,000 views and then 5,000 views and then it hit 10,000 views. And like within like the end of the day, I want to say I was already at like 1 million views. It ended up at 4.4 million.
Okay,
Yeah,
incredible.
it was so
I
crazy.
gotta give that an applause.
Yeah.
Like seriously. How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special guest in the building. Paola, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Honestly, I've been following your journey for quite some time. Maybe let's say I moved to Phoenix about a year ago. So let's
Okay.
about 2 years ago. So let's say I've been following your journey for about 2 years.
Okay.
Can you introduce yourself for the people that don't know you, please?
Yes, my name is Paola G. I'm a Latina singer in the Phoenix area. I've been singing professionally for about, I want to say almost 3 years. And it's been a really long journey and it's hard. It's had its ups and downs, but I mean, I've loved every minute of it and I wouldn't change anything so far that I've accomplished.
What were your all right, so let's take it back to the beginning of like biology, like the
Okay.
beginning of you saying, I'm gonna record my first record. What was that first record like?
So I feel like a lot of singers, I started as just like a cover artist. I got a vocal coach about 3 years, and you kind of learn singing from hearing other people. I'd always been told when I was younger that I had a good voice and that I could be a singer, and I kind of just was like, oh, maybe it's just my hidden talent, and I didn't really pursue much into it. And then I decided I wanted to pursue singing, and for a good 2 years, I was like, oh, I'm just doing covers. I'm just doing covers. I like performing other people's songs. I never really thought about my own music or writing my own music. I never considered myself a songwriter. Yeah, I really didn't. People would like ask me, they're like, oh, when are you coming out with your own music? And I'm like, I don't really know. And then they'd like say like, oh, are you writing something? Are you doing it? I'm like, I don't know if I really like want to do that. Like I was just so scared of it. It was something like I didn't even want to touch. Like I was like, I'm in my comfort zone of doing covers and leave me be. I don't want to push myself out of that comfort zone.
Right.
And then one day, there's this website that I use to like listen to instrumentals and just kind of like get inspiration, get ideas. And I heard this instrumental and I was like, wait, I really like that. And then just kind of like listening back, singers will kind of like hum over it, just see what they can kind of come up with. And I immediately came up with like a little melody. And like almost instantly when I came up with that melody, I put words to it. And I was like, oh my God, am I a songwriter? And I got so excited. And I was like, wait, okay, maybe I should kind of push this project along. And so I brought it up to my vocal coach. He kind of helped like guide me through it. And I want to say I was a good like 70% like done with the song. And I'm at the gym and I'm listening to music. And keep in mind, like a few months prior, I was listening to a Becky G song and it had just come out and I was like, oh, this is a good song. And then I kind of heard it and then like didn't listen to it again. And so then while I'm at the gym, my Spotify is just giving me random music and that Becky G song comes on and the hook of that song comes up and I'm like, that's exactly the hook that I came up with. And I was so upset, so devastated. I literally went home crying. I like stopped mid like treadmill walk. I went home crying and I thought I came up with it by myself. Like I was so proud of myself. I was all like so proud of myself. And then I went to being so like disappointed and I brought it up to a bunch of musical friends and they were like, well, like, it happens. I've done that a million times. Like it's really no big deal. But to me, it was a really big deal because I felt like it was like a monumental step to being like, oh my God, maybe this is me pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Like maybe I can do this. And it took like, I think I like stopped working on it for like 5, 6 months. Like I didn't touch it. I didn't look at it. Like I didn't want to hear it. I was just like so upset because I loved that hook and I just
All right.
didn't want to deal with it at all.
What was the song? What was the hook? What was the song?
It was I don't want to like connect it too much, like, but it was Arranca by Becky G. It
Mm,
had like a tropical vibe, and her hook, now that I'm like trying to think about it, I'm like, it's baby, ¿qué te pasa? Na 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 na. It's like something like that. And literally, like the beginning of my hook was baby, ¿qué está pasando? And it was just too
yeah.
close together that I was like, I can't.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. Did you ever put that song out like out in the internet, like the hook?
The hook, no. The original hook that I had written, no. But after like bringing it to a bunch of my friends, bringing it to my vocal coach, bringing it to my vocal coach's dad, who's a producer too, they helped me come up with a different melody. And then from that, I found something that I really liked and still had the same like vibe of it, and then put different words to it. And then that's basically how Que Mas, my first single, ended up coming out.
Okay, okay, ¿qué más? Okay, okay,
Yeah.
I've heard it. Okay. You want me to know you want to know my theory behind when like you write a song and then next thing you know you're like you hear a song in the radio, you're like, oh, hold on one second now. I've heard that song. Wait, that's my record.
Yeah.
I actually feel like we're all connected to one cloud.
Mhm.
And we pull from that cloud as songwriters.
Yeah.
And so there's many times where I've written a hook and I'm like, and I listen to another song and I'm like, wait one second. These
It's the
people, they're fucking with me now.
same.
I understand you. I understand you completely. So, if any of the songwriters here in the comments, please let us know if that's ever happened to you, where you write a song and then you hear it, because it's actually more common than we think.
No, 100%. And if you think about like how, like, I mean, if you think about like a scale, like it's 1 through 8, like you only have a certain set of notes, like 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, how many different ways can you really mix all of those up and be able to create different sounds, different melodies? Like, at some point, like things are going to be recycled, and like things might sound similar. Like, especially nowadays with music, I feel like it's really popular, like sampling older music. Like, I know it's always been a thing, but I feel like now sampling music is a lot more popular, and a lot of like younger kids are hearing songs that are remixed and different singers over it, and then they're like, no, this I was jamming to this like
You
10
put
years
me no. I've been on this song for a long time. You're like,
Yeah, exactly, you're just now finding out about it.
it's funny because my sister, she's like, she's 15 right now.
Hmm.
So of course she feels like she knows everything. You know,
Hmm.
she knows the whole world. I'm like, okay, I got you. Oh, that
She
song.
thinks she's putting you on.
She thinks she putting me on. I'm like, Mamacita, let me tell you something. But that's really interesting, and that's kind of like my theory. What I go back to when it comes to songwriters, we're actually all connected to one source.
Hmm.
And I actually got him tatted right here. Apollo is actually he's the god of music.
I love that.
So he's the god of like poetry, songwriting, and such and such. And
Hmm.
I feel like we're all connected to one cloud. And when you get connected to that cloud, you might, yeah, absolutely, you definitely might hear somebody else hear your tone, because it's like you're kind of pulling from that cloud as you're in the songwriting mode, you know?
Yeah.
Whether that's true or it's not, that's the theory that like I go by when it comes to that case. You know, oh, I did a song, this person sounds just like it. Yeah, you pull from the cloud, and now life is giving you actually the access to pull from the cloud.
Exactly.
So that was your first experience, like writing a hook and hearing it somewhere else, damn near.
Yeah, so it was like my first song, my first like ever trying to songwrite and put out my own original song. I had that, and so it was a very difficult up and down process. But then once I feel like I got past that hump, like I said, I didn't touch the song for like 5, 6 months because I was so upset about it, because it was like I felt like I was on such a high, and I was all like, yes, like my journey's progressing, and then it was all like,
Ooh,
dang, like I'm just going right back to square one. Like I have to start the song over. And it's like, as like an artist, a musician, like once you hear something, like you can't get it out of your head. So the thing is like that was the only hook that I could connect with it. So I had to ask a bunch of my artist friends, like, hey, can you hear this? And can you think of a different melody? Because I was so stuck on that one. I was like, I can't get out of that
You could
space.
put it
I
out.
need a set of ears. Huh?
Just put it out like, hey, Becky G, what you got? I got this.
Exactly.
I love Becky G.
Love her. She's
But
amazing.
right, but at the same time, it's a competition. Like
Yeah.
it's a competition. I love people. I'm a people's person, but nonetheless, I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
Extremely competitive. So it's a competition. So
Yeah.
can you bring me I actually wanted to know because you're very well at marketing yourself online, whether
Mhm.
whether it is performing out or and about or just creating a certain image. What has been the number one thing that has helped you brand yourself as an artist, Paula G?
I feel like when it comes to social media, like I've done a few things like for social media and kind of like marketing. Like I when I went to university, I studied merchandising marketing, just kind of like the visual appeal, kind of like the um, business side of communication. And so I feel like when it comes to like social media, we have like the world at our fingertips. And I started noticing the way that like social media was kind of pushing towards was a lot more like businessy. And it was either like you were seeing something very business, like you could see someone pushing a product onto you, or it was like the really funny, goofy, hee hee ha ha's. There was kind of nothing in between. And so the thing is I like as much as I love music, I also love, showing people like my personality. Like others might say not, but like I think I'm pretty funny and goofy and I just like to have a good time. Like it could be like my fatal flaw, but I can't be serious all the time. I need to have that kind of like weight off. And so it was very uncomfortable for me to like put myself singing on social media was very vulnerable for me. So I had to kind of mix in bits and pieces of like my own personality. And so I would say, okay, let me put a cover up and then let me maybe do like a funny little skit that has to do with music or singing, but like still kind of shows my personality. Like I wanted people to fall in love with me as a person and then be like, oh my God, Paola, like she's really cool. She's really funny. She's really sweet. She's this, she's that. And she sings. Wow, that's how I kind of wanted it to be because I feel like that's when you build a connection with someone and it becomes more of a relationship instead of just like a one-sided like, oh, I'm watching you. You feel like a little bit more connected to that person. So I wanted like my followers to kind of see me as more of like their friend. Like sometimes in my videos I open up with like hi friends, like hola amigos, like because I truly feel like that connection will build a better long lasting relationship in comparison to like I'm just selling you something, I'm just pushing my music on you, or just like hey, I'm a singer, listen to me, to where it's like another one is like you're rooting your friend on for being successful. And I always say like thank you for following me on my journey because I feel like it's people that have seen me from the very beginning kind of seeing me grow like with my music.
I personally think I mean I love that. Honestly, if I could learn anything from you right now in this moment, I would say I want to learn personality because you have such a persona online and I've seen your TikToks. You're very funny. I would say that's the main thing that when like I said at the beginning of this is probably our third time conversating, right? And I would say that when I first ran into your profile, the first thing that I ran into was actually a funny moment from you. And then, yes, you're absolutely right. I ran into a funny moment, and then I go into your profile because you're pretty funny, and it looks like you got like there's a persona, and when
Mm-hmm.
you click on your profile, there's a singer giving you their heart, giving
Mm-hmm.
their. And I was telling my drummer earlier, I was like, check her out, bro. Like, you need to really check out her profile. The moment he heard your voice, he was like, he was looking into the wall. He was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, you understand what I'm telling you, right?
Uh-huh.
There's a persona behind who you represent, and I completely support it. As
Thank,
ALEXSOY, I can just say I support Paola G.
thank you.
You're an incredible persona online, and that's when I first ran into your profile. I just want you to know that your marketing strategy is working in the sense of like exactly how you're planning it to be. I
Thank,
saw you. I saw that because if I'm not mistaken, funny um like content makes gets more interaction than just, hey, here's my record, you know.
yeah.
So I actually ran into you by a video. I'm pretty sure a lot of people ran into you with this video where you're singing to your sister.
Yeah.
You're singing
Yeah.
to your sister, and guess what? I have a sister.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, I sing to my sister.
Uh-huh.
So that was an incredible way to market yourself. But then I saw what you did afterwards. You took advantage of that and you like started putting content out about your
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, that video was crazy. And
Tell
I
me
just,
about that video. Like, I need to know about that video.
so it's funny because I had seen a video of someone doing something similar. It was basically like this girl was like, when your speaker breaks or something, but your roommate's a singer or something. And so it was the roommate singing to her, kind of the exact same idea, same premise. But I was like, I always like bringing stuff back to my like Latinidad and trying to give similar content that might be like in English or for more like Americanized content and then bringing it to like the Latino side. So I was kind of like, oh, this is so funny, but like we got to have some Latino bops in there. So I took that and then like my sister and I would like play little games and stuff like that when we were younger. So I was like, hey, like do this with me. It'll be like from when we were little and I would like sing to you or like do karaoke and whatever. And so my sister was like, fine. Like she didn't want to be bothered, but she was like, fine, come on, let's do it. And so
Just tell
um
your sister she's a star. Like, y'all need to do more content together now. Like, I'm telling you.
I love doing content with her. It's just once we do it, she's like, okay, this is fun. This is funny. It's just getting her to do it. It's like, come on,
Right,
let's do
right.
it.
I understand that 100%.
Exactly, especially because I take it so serious. I'm like, we have to do it again. Just like one more time. Let's have a backup just in case. And she's like, I've been done with this 6 takes ago. And I'm all like, come on, just one more
You're like,
time.
we're just getting started, mama. What do you mean?
Exactly. We have an outfit change coming up. Like, but so I tell her, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sing these four songs, and then like, kind of around here, like do this, do that. And I think we got it in like 3 takes, like maybe. And everything that I ever did, like in like early stages of me like posting it, like I'm like, oh, maybe 40 people will see it, maybe my friends will see it and it'll make them laugh or anything. And then I remembered we filmed the video, I saved it in my drafts, and I forgot about it. And then the next day at work I was like, oh, like I was sitting on in my car at lunch and I
Right.
was like, let me edit it real quick, like put the words of like, oh, like your sister's speaker breaks, but luckily you have the voice of
So
an
it
angel.
was like one of these, I'm on break. Let me post this video.
Yeah, it was on. I'm on break. Let me post this
That's
video.
that's
And then
amazing.
I go back inside, and my phone. I just hear like it is going off, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I see that it starts to get like after 15 minutes of posting, it had like 3,000 views, and then 5,000 views, and then it hit 10,000 views, and like within like the end of the day, I want to say I was already at like 1 million views, but it was
That's
like
amazing, Paola.
crazy. And like so many people like fell in love with it or they were tagging their sisters, and I just have such like a special relationship with my sister that I thought it was cute that like other siblings were seeing it, like they were literally saying like, oh, I used to play radio when we were little. And so it was just really cool. And I even
I
had like radio stations ask if they could post it, and it was just really cool. But I feel like I was very unprepared for the amount of attention it got, because I don't think I posted for like a little while because I just got so overwhelmed. And I was like,
mm,
okay, if I'm going to start posting on social media, I got to figure out how to do it soon. And I got a little scared.
right.
But then I started seeing like
Wow.
this out. Let me be smart about this. And that's when then I slowly started posting other videos, and then yeah, just kind of started posting whatever it is that felt funny, good, and right to me. And I always have a lot of fun with it.
Honestly, I mean, what an incredible story about siblings, about siblings, and what you can do whenever you just have fun with your sibling. I
That,
mean, I have a sister, and like I said, when I saw that video, I was like, that's me, and my sister. Like I'm always bugging her about music, blah blah blah. Play the piano, play the keyboard, do this, do that. So I honestly, like, I love that content, but I also go back to the point of um when the moment comes, like you have to be 100% ready, and
yeah.
that's actually a perfect moment, like for you to realize, like, oh shoot, I should always have a video in the back end. I should always have a song in the back end, like ready to go at all
Mm,
times. Can you
yeah.
explain to me what it meant for you to, you pretty much went viral. Didn't you hit 1 million?
I hit it, the video ended up like it randomly, like as of like a few days ago, started circulating back up. And so I've been getting a lot of people coming back and liking
Nice,
it.
nice, lovely. Hell yeah.
I was like, yeah, go. And it ended up at 4.4 million.
Okay,
Yeah,
incredible.
it was
Like
so
I
crazy.
gotta give that an applause.
Yeah,
Like seriously,
yeah. Four
you
point
and your sister, like that's the strategy. Like if you're saying you need to tell your sister, this is about to make us rich. Like you and your sister make an incredible duo because it's so relatable.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
extremely relatable. And so when you go viral, right? What's your mindset? What are you going through in your mind as you're going viral? Because that is a viral moment. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I need to pack up and go to
I'm
LA right
I'm
now.
gonna be off the screen. I'm fixing the camera, but you can keep on talking, okay?
Okay, no worries. I was literally thinking like I need to pack up, go to LA right now. Like I'm a star. I'm hilarious. And I it feels so weird talking when you're not there. But I was very excited about it. But I think I was just unprepared at the time because I just did not think that video was going to do as well as it did. And so I just didn't have anything to like back it up. I didn't have more content kind of lined up. So it was definitely a learning moment for me because I was able to figure out like, okay, I need to seize the opportunity. I need to seize the moment. Like once I see something is doing really well, I'm like, okay, what can I line up like right after it? So then people are still engaged and still wanting to um work and connect with me.
You just
Mm,
went viral on TikTok. So
yeah.
what do you do after you go viral on TikTok? What's your next move? Did you find yourself actually to be overwhelmed with what was going on, or did you see a way through to get to the goal that you wanted to go to, which is you're a musician, you're a songwriter, and you're a content creator, and you actually found your break?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people, like people don't get that break in years.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say, like, as of right now, in your social media presence, Paula, you have an extremely high advantage. And is
Mhm.
that you have a persona, you know how to create content that actually engages with people. And so after you figure all this out, or have you even thought about that fact that you figure it out without even thinking about it? What's your next step as of right now?
As of right now, so it's kind of funny because I feel like I'm trying to build my social media back up. I so like after like that had gone viral, I like got very overwhelmed and it was like kind of like a oh, like I'm out there now, like but I don't know if I'm ready. It's like I had posted some singing stuff, I had posted some funny stuff, but then that popped off and I was just like, "Oh my God, I don't have anything else prepared." Like I didn't think I'd get that many views, that much attention, all these new followers, and they're wanting to see like what I'm doing, or they're like, oh, a part two, and like all these different things.
Gotcha.
And I just was not prepared. And so I honestly took a little bit of a step back and was like, not so much like a step back, like out of nervousness. It was more so, okay, let me be smart about this. let me think about what like is the best way to approach it. That's when I kind of started figuring out like, okay, like I could just start posting cover after cover after cover after cover, but there's not that much interaction there. It's kind of like, hey guys, listen to me. So that's when I kind of decided. I was like, okay, this did well. It was a mixture. It was the perfect mixture of funny but still showing me singing and showing my talent, showing what I love to do. And I wanted to keep that same vibe, like I said, for people to get to know me, people to like want to follow me on my journey. And so that's when I kind of decided like, okay, that's how I'm going to mix up my social media and how I'm going to show off my persona and who not only Paola G the artist is, but Paola G the person is. And so that's when I started kind of being a little bit smarter about like, okay, let me like one day I have off, let me, do my makeup and set up my ring light, and I'll film a few videos back to back. So I had like a few videos where I would like, wear one shirt and then I'd change my hair and then I'd put on another shirt. And then I would have a few videos kind of lined up in my drafts for then like throughout the week, then I would post. And then I remember there was another video that I had that went viral, and I was that one I was really proud of myself for because it didn't go as viral as that first one, but I really seized the moment with an opportunity and had an idea, and I jumped on the idea. And it was I can't remember exactly when or if you're gonna like know about it, but there was, do you know like the whole like Selena Gomez Hailey Bieber drama?
I think so. I think so.
A little bit. There was a little bit of like some stuff going on there, and it was like going completely viral on TikTok, and like all these people were talking about it, breaking it down. And I love singing the song Taki Taki as like
I've
I
seen
think it's
that
a
one.
I love it. It's so
Yeah.
good, and it has
Hmm.
it, and that's like my go-to like karaoke or like hype song. But when all the drama was happening and all this stuff was coming out, I, as the brain of a singer, was like, oh my God, I'm gonna sing about this. And so I took
Of
Selena
course.
Gomez, so I took Selena Gomez's verse in Taki Taki, changed all the lyrics to pertain to the situation that was going on. And I immediately texted my vocal coach. I was like, I have an idea and I need to talk to you right now. Help me. And then I I recorded the cover. I think it was like within like 3 or 4 days. I was like, I have to get this video out when everything is still popping. Like this drama can't die out. I have to post it. And then
Right.
that video got a little over 1 million views.
Oof.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
You've got this social media thing like figured out. What's your next step?
So I'm trying to build, like I think I said it before, I'm trying to build my social media back up. Like I've told you, I just had surgery. I kind of was in a little bit of like I had a bunch of issues with like scheduling of my surgery and it getting pushed back. So I was kind of like in a limbo waiting area of like, okay, like I don't want to like start working on a new project. I don't want to, reach out to people. I don't, just because I was like, I'm going to be in my like healing process and just preparing, for the surgery. And so I could tell that I lost a little bit of traction. I started like slowly losing followers, which it sucks because like you can post one video and get a bunch of attention and maybe gain like 5 new followers, but then like you suddenly like no one cares. And I'm like, dang, like it's so tricky to like keep up. And so I'm honestly in the process of trying to just taking a step back, going back to square one and being like, okay, what can I post? What can I do? What kind of content would make me stand out again and maybe give people a new perspective on me? So that's what I'm trying to do right now to build my social media back up, since it's kind of like went down since I had my surgery and I've been healing.
Absolutely. How can you kind of walk us through a process of what it takes for you to kind of get in the right mindset of making music again, right? After going through a surgery that
Yeah.
actually not just a regular surgery, a surgery that actually messes with your vocal tone.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge that a lot of people could go through, and especially a lot of musicians, and we don't hear a lot about that.
Yeah.
but you're going through it right now. How can you tell us about that experience on going through a surgery that actually messes with the tone of your performance, and
Mhm.
how can you deal with that?
Yeah, so I have always struggled with like allergies, like postnasal drip, like stuff regarding my nose, sinus infections, and I believe at some point it had my nose had been broken. I just didn't really like notice it. I was just like, oh, like hit my nose, but I started noticing as I got older that one of my nostrils, when I would breathe in really deeply, it would actually collapse. And so for example, that like affected it. Your breathing affects so much. Like it wasn't even just my singing, it was my sleep. And then if I wasn't getting good sleep, it would affect my mood. And if it was affecting my mood, then I would, it was just this big cycle of, just basically coming down to like that I wasn't breathing well. And I always felt like I sounded very nasally when I talked. And so when I sang, I felt like it was even worse. And it gave me like a slight insecurity with my voice, thinking like, oh, I feel like I sound so strained. I feel like I sound so this. I feel like I sound so stuffy.
Uh,
I feel like I can't hit certain notes. I feel like I'm struggling. And so I had gotten like to the point where I was with an ENT and they were like, not only was your nose broken at some point, but you also have a really bad deviated septum. So for anybody that doesn't know, a deviated septum, you have like in the center of your nose, you have a piece of cartilage, and basically mine was like off to the side. I can't remember which side, but it was like off to the side. And so when, if it's off to the side and you have your like the out external nostril, when I would breathe in, it would and close up. And so that was what was happening with one side of my nostril. And then if the other side got plugged up, then I'm like, well, I better pray that I survive because that was my only working nostril.
oh, yes,
And so I went through the process of getting the surgery. I was in recovery. I had to take like 2 weeks off of work. The first week was really rough because I had splints in my nose, and those are basically like a really long piece of flexible plastic that has a little bit of a like a straw in between, but those are going like all the way into your nose. They're pretty much like this long,
mm-hmm.
and they're those on top of like and then I have the cast on top. So the splints are kind of like an internal cast, but you have so much swelling, bruising, dried blood, mocos, like everything in there that I was miserable. I was so stuffed up. Like I know that those splints were there for a purpose, but I wanted to get them out so bad. And not only that, I hope this isn't too graphic, but the little like straws are meant to give you some sort of like room to breathe basically. So like if this is my two nostrils and I have the splints in there, in the back of my nose, like in my sinus area, I had this huge blood clot that was basically stopping me from even being able to breathe just out of there. So I was so
Mm-hmm.
when I would swallow, I would get like the pressure in my ears because it was creating so much pressure. And I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. Yeah.
So you guys have it easy. Let's just say that. Singers
Yeah.
out there, you ain't going through this. You got it easy.
You
Like
can eat for free. Like
you're
it's
good.
yeah, you're good. And it was crazy. And so then I finally got to my 1 week follow up where they were going to take the splints and everything. And I'm waiting so impatient. Like I'm tapping my foot in the waiting room, like waiting to get taken back. Like I hadn't slept well the night before. I get into the room and the doctor comes in and she's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, get these out now. No small talk. Just please. Like, I was like, I don't want to talk. Just anything, get it out. We can talk after. And so instantly when she took the splints out, was able to get like all the ickies out of my nose. I immediately felt so much better. I still had like a week of recovering and, just like putting a lot of ice. I had a lot of swelling. Like I still do. I'm still only like 3 weeks out of my surgery. But this past I want to say Monday, I believe. Earlier this week, I went to my first vocal lesson after having the surgery, and it truly was amazing. Like there were notes that I was starting to to be able to hit that I wasn't able to hit before. My
Wow.
so much better. I felt so much more open. Even my vocal coach was all like, you realize like you weren't able to like hit that before. And I'm like, I know. It was so much brighter, it was so much more open, and it definitely helped just the overall sound quality, I feel, of my voice. And I mean, I'm still only 3 weeks out, I'm still swollen, I'm still healing, so I can only imagine how much better it will sound. Of course, it's going to take the work of warm-ups. Warm-ups are so important. Like, I can try and sing one thing just like without warming up, and I won't be able to hit it, and then I'll warm up, I'll steam, I'll do whatever, and then it's like, oh, piece of cake, I got it. So like warming
Mm.
up,
Really?
um yeah, warm-ups are so important. I mean, like the same way, like if you're working out, like if you just go straight into
Yeah.
deadlifting 200 pounds, you're going to hurt yourself. But you need to do your stretches, you need to, warm up your body, like kind of progress in weight to then be able to get the results, because if not, you're going to risk hurting yourself.
Wow. Honestly, um, I've personally never looked into vocal warming, and I'm
Don't
so
that
no,
don't
no, I promise you, I never have. I wanted to for a long time, but I just never had a right coach. It's all about coaching.
Yeah, and I understand that, because I know for me, I kind of need someone to hold my hand through it. If not, I'm not going to want to do it. And I mean,
You know
yeah,
what's crazy? I've YouTube my whole way through this my music career. YouTube has been like my main coach.
it's honestly such a useful tool. And there's so many things that, like, even before I would still use for like YouTube, I would like sit and do little warm-ups. But what's tricky is not in any way to like scare anybody if they're doing something like solo or by themselves, but sometimes there are workouts where if you're not doing them correctly, you could end up hurting yourself more. Like if you're not singing it in the correct
Really?
register, if you're like especially if you're not already like singing something correctly, like let's say you're like singing more from your throat instead of like from like your chest, like if you're singing from your throat and straining your throat, that's going
Oh,
to put a lot of
come
pressure
on.
on your
I need lessons. I need like right. So now in this last 30 minutes, Paula, I would love to just be able to give some gems to the new up and coming artists.
mm-hmm.
In the city. We are in Phoenix as of right now. And I personally feel like Phoenix is actually an untapped territory.
Yeah.
Um, just a quick story, 60 seconds about me. I moved from Houston to Phoenix because I actually saw an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I saw an opportunity of the Latino community being brought up in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I respect every Phoenix Latino artist that has been here representing the community, but we need to take a bigger step.
Yeah.
And we need to be a bigger, because we're bigger than we think. And we are actually part of the community that built this community.
Mm-hmm.
As a Latina, how in the next few years are you able to represent the Latina community here in Phoenix, Arizona?
So I've always felt like my like I say like Latinidad has been very unique, but also something that a lot of people have gone through. Because something else that I kind of touch on in my social media is so I'm half Mexican, half Brazilian. My mom is Mexican, my dad is Brazilian,
There you go.
but I was born here in the United States. I was born and raised here. The United States is home to me. It's all I've ever known. It's the culture that I grew up with. But when I would come home, I'd have a different culture at home. Like a part of me growing up always thought like, oh, everybody speaks another language at home. Like we just kind of outside the house is English, inside.
Really?
Yeah, I always thought somebody spoke like that, like people would speak other languages at home, like with their family or with their parents. Because I mostly grew up speaking Portuguese. My dad doesn't speak a lot of English. My mom learned Portuguese when she met my dad. And so I just kind of was like, oh, just, we all speak English here. Like English is our business language. Like, and then everybody would speak their native tongue back at home. And so it's I feel like it's something that's like touched on a lot, but like being Latina, I always felt like we were all the same. Like I grew up in a very like more white predominantly white community. I live in more North Phoenix, and so I was like always the more like, I hate saying this word, but like the exotic one, the exotic friend, the Latina friend, the spicy friend, like just all those like kind of like stereotypical adjectives to like describe me in like the friend group or relation to everybody else around me. But I was always just kind of like, we're all just one and the same. Like I didn't notice anything super different like about me or like any of my other
You
like,
could have been like, "This is my land, motherfucker."
yeah, exactly. So, but then like when I would go to Brazil, like all my cousins would be like, "Hola, Americana," like, "Oh, like, are you gonna like, what's a word
Damn.
in English or something like that?" And I was just like, "Dang,
Ah,
like, belong anywhere." Like, it's like I'm not Latina enough for the Latinas, but I'm not, like Americanized enough for the Americans.
right.
And so I feel like a part of me sometimes I feel like I don't like belong. Like it's almost like I don't want to say like disgraceful, but it's all like, oh, how can you be a Latina singer singing in Spanish, but then your Spanish isn't perfect? And I like am never one to claim like, oh my God, I'm the most Latina to ever Latina. Like I'm never gonna say anything like that. But it's like I have such a pride in my culture and in my identity that, like I feel like I still want to like respect that, and I feel like I connect when it comes to music. I connect so much more to like Latin music and Spanish music and Brazilian music. And a few years ago, I know like Brazilian funk, like Brazilian music is slowly starting to make its way into like the mainstream like American and Latin like music field. But I remember a few years ago, I think it was like Two Chains or something did a remix on a really popular song in Brazil, and I was like, no way! I'm like, Brazil is coming to the States, y'all! Like I was so excited, and
And you're right. And you're right. 100%.
yeah, and so um I feel like for me I kind of like represent that like intersectionality of Latinos that grew up in the United States that might not feel like they belong in either side. Like I get on my social media, I get called an osabo all the time. Like people say that like I think I'm saying this right, pero tengo nopal en la frente, which is like, oh, you're so Mexican and you have your cactus in front of you, but you can barely speak Spanish. And it's like, hey, like I studied Spanish. Like I still like can understand very well. I can hold like communication very well, a conversation. Like it's just not the strongest. It's not what I'm most comfortable in. It's not like even with my Portuguese, I'd say I feel more comfortable with my Portuguese because I grew up speaking it, but I know more vocabulary in Spanish because it's the music that I listen to. It's what I studied in school. Like it's just showing a different perspective of like that. I guess like I'm just like the most popular no sabo kid. Like that is like,
Hey, you
hey,
rip what you gotta
I'm
rip. Like
proud
it's so good.
like I'm proud of it. Like whatever you can try and downplay like my Mexican side, my Brazilian side, whatever you want, but I'm still proud of it no matter what. Like call me a no sabo, like it is what it is. Like I don't care.
I think it's actually a culture of its own. Um, I
Mhm.
think guys that were born here and that you speak.
I will take it back. Selena is 100% the most popular no sabo kid. I only hope to be like today.
Oh, Selena. Oh man. I
Yeah.
love. Absolutely love Selena. I actually went to her house and I
Oh,
went to her, yeah, I went to her house, I went to her monument, I went to her parents' house, and I went to a whole bunch of Selena stuff. I love Selena. I think she's the most incredible Latino Texan artist because I'm from Texas.
yeah.
And when we're talking about Selena, oh man, like I know a lot about her because when I first came here to the US, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard trying to be a Latino while you were still trying to accommodate to the US, right? Because I'm so proud of being a Latino. And,
Mm-hmm.
and but at the same time, I'm trying to accommodate to like, my black friends, my white friends, my Asian friends. Like at the beginning, it was hard. But I remember when I first like learned about Selena, I'm like, oh shit, she's so natural.
Yeah.
Like she's just so about being Latino. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm bringing it back. I'm like, yeah, I don't care about anything else. I am Latino and I'm here in Texas. This is what is it. This is what it
Hmm.
is. So honestly, um, that your talent, Paola, and the way that I've been able, like I was talking to my music director earlier, and we were listening to your vocals after we got out of a conversation. Right, we
Hmm.
had a conversation earlier today, and I was trying to make sure that he knew because I was gonna put you in a group chat with him, right? And I was
Hmm.
like, let me just show you what she's got, bro. And he's listening to you. He's like mouth wide open, like wow, like okay, because it is such a unique talent to be able to sing the way that you have, Paula. Honestly,
Thank
I
you.
look
That
up, I look up to your vocals. You don't even need to thank me. Honestly, just I appreciate your talent, um, and I appreciate the fact that you push the Latino community. I'm actually all about pushing the community,
mhm.
and one of my biggest goals is to just have a community where we're able to push beginning artists
Yeah.
to push their full talent. Imagine if at the beginning, like when you were 15, 14, if you would have had like Paola G right by your side, like, you got it, girl, like you could do this.
No, like I think about that like it's like a going back and forth. It's like I'm like, oh, like if only I had started when I was younger, if only I had someone that really, believed in me, if only I like did this. But at the same time, I'm like, not
That's
to
who
be
you're gonna be for somebody else.
exactly. And even then, it's like everything happens in the timing that it's meant to happen. Like maybe I wasn't meant to do it when I was like younger, especially seeing all this stuff of like, younger stars where, they're exposed to so much and everything like that. I'm like, maybe I had to come into myself and my own identity and build the confidence that I have now. Cause don't get me wrong, I'm a big crybaby. I'm very sensitive, but I know that I like when I get hate comments or something on social media, I laugh at it. I'm just like, okay, that was very creative. Like, I can respect that one. Like, or I'll just be like, this one's stupid or whatever it is. There's still a few here and there that'll kind of get to me that I'll think about. But I just know that if this had been like me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like, or even when I was young, I know I wouldn't have been able to handle that. So I think that things just come when they're meant to be. And I also can't live in the past of like woulda, shoulda, coulda. Like I should have done this. I could have done this. Like I just have to think that I'm doing this now and I'm doing it when I'm able to do it. Like in my head, like I'm still young. I know that like people will say like, oh, like you're old, especially in the music industry. Like you can be looked at as being older, like marketed, like the way you're marketed and everything. But like it just you can still do it, like you can still do anything at any age as long as you set your mind to it, and then you just believe in yourself enough that other people start to believe in you. And even in the beginning, like I feel like I didn't fully believe in myself. I was like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't even know what the first step would be. I like have no idea where to start, and that's where I feel like a lot of my like kind of insecurities came, where it's like, should I even do this? Is it even worth it? Like I feel like I'm already like late to the game. And looking back, and I'm like, girl, you're only 25 years old. Like you still have so much time, like on this earth, to do whatever it is that you want. There's never too late of a time to start something that you're really excited about, that feels like you're pursuing your passion, you're moving forward.
You're 100% at the right time.
Yeah.
You know Celia Cruz.
Yes.
Azúcar.
Oh God.
Um, you know, I usually look at her for an example of how people can come out here at a later time in life and
Mhm.
be extremely successful. I don't believe that we're here just in a time manner, you know.
Yeah.
It's about a purpose manner. It's about
Yeah.
whether you're here to fulfill your purpose or not. And so, I mean, I don't want to get too deep, but I truly feel like when people are musically inclined, they have a purpose. And
Yeah.
if you're passionate enough, you're going to get to your goal no matter what. But the thing about it is that your book and your story has to be a little bit interesting. So it can't just be given to you
Yeah.
because it's going to be an easy book to write.
Yeah.
But because it's a little bit harder to write, it's a little bit more complex. The history and the story behind what you're doing and what your music represents, it's stronger.
Hmm.
I look at you, Paola, just to finish this off. When I look at you, I actually look at what the community can be,
Hmm.
and what the way that I see you, um, when I see your profile in social media, I actually see you as somebody that can actually bring back to the community a lot,
Hmm.
because you're somebody that's not scared to show who they are, and who can represent what they feel at the moment, whether it's something funny, whether it's doing a cover, whether it's representing family. That's huge.
Yeah.
So I personally think, from the back end or from the outside looking in, you're doing an incredible job.
Thank you.
And I talk to my music director all the time about music and whatnot, and I've been showing him your profile, your music, and your talent. And every time, like, we run into your profile, we're impressed by your vocals, by your talent, by the commitment of actually delivering great vocals. Not
Thank
everybody's gonna be able to deliver great vocals. Everybody wants to sing really good. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that you have a vocal coach,
you. Hmm.
and you're taking things in that direction. I mean, I wish I could have had a musical coach or a vocal coach when I was younger. I just was so much into like technical stuff that I didn't
Hmm.
think. But that's where, like, if there's a pocket that I could fill, then I'll fill that. And that's what you can do for other artists.
Yeah.
Artists are probably thinking about how they can become more popular when you're telling them, hey, just become good at what you do.
Yeah.
And so we really appreciate that. Now, is there any tips? There's a beginning artist just trying to drop their first record. Can you guide me through a process in your mind of dropping your first song, of what it takes to drop your first song, and what websites, what gadgets, what can you look at? What should you look at when you drop your first record as an independent artist?
See, so I might even take it like a further step back and say that, like, I think it sounds so cheesy, but like the thing is you really, really, really just have to believe in yourself. Like, you really just have to, because like of course you have your support system, of course I know I have my support system, but the thing is like at the end of the day you are your only hype man. You have to really truly believe in yourself to say, hey, whether this is successful or it's not, or it's just like an obstacle or a learning point, whatever it is, I'm going to take this for what it is, but I still know that I'm going to come back to myself and still hype myself up at the end of the day to continue to pursue, whether it's songwriting, whether it's singing, or putting out a record. I'd say when it comes to the actual like physical part, I think it's just you have to create a little team of people that also believe in you. So then that way they're giving you the best quality product. Um, I've only put out two two songs. I have another one that I'm working on, and then another one that somebody else that I'm like a feature on their song that are going to be coming out soon. But it's just like from what I've seen, like different people, you just really have to get the people that know what they're doing in their fields. Like, so for example, like, if someone's like, I want really good vocals, they'd come to me. If someone is like, I want, the best way to like market this or to produce this, then they'd go to you. Just find the person that really is um, like a master in their field and have them hone in on that to help push your project further. Because I think it's like the same, like a jack of all trades, but a master in none. So it's like if you're spreading yourself too thin across all these projects, you're not going to be able to get the best quality product. So it's definitely going to be the quality over the quantity for me. People can be
Mm,
throwing out
gotcha.
song like every single week, and but it's not a good quality product, and it's not going to stick with people because it looks very thrown together. So that would probably be my take. I wish I could have your mindset of the more like business mindset or the technicality mindset, but as soon as you start talking numbers and everything, my eyes glaze over, I fall asleep. So it's definitely like no one should come to me for any like technical, like, hey, how do I put this out? Like, no, 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 that's not me. But if you're looking for the creativity, if you need especially like a lot of the self-doubt that comes with artistry, just, you know, finding your voice like as an artist, then like I'm your girl. Anything else? No.
You know, I feel like people worry about more about finding their sound more than they worry about how they can um make money off music, which is
Yeah.
honestly it blows my mind. but
Yeah.
but that's the way that people think, because people is especially people that are creative, they're just creative. They don't want to, they actually don't want to be business people. That's
Yeah.
actually why they go into the business world, I mean to the
Just
music world.
the brain. There's the creativity side, and then there's like the numbers, money, logistics side.
Right. And a lot of people in the music industry, they're just creative. Like I love my drummer. He's the most amazing person ever. But I know that me and him connect because I am a business minded person and he's a musically talented person. When I think about how to make money with our movement, he thinks on how to creative a lot better. You know, that's where I feel like me and him connect in a way where it's like, yo, you're thinking of it on, like, I always think about his career. He's a drummer. And
Mm.
just a bit of background on my drummer, my music director. He has 30 years experience in the music industry. He has toured with a lot of big bands, Germany, South Korea. Like, he has traveled all over the world. So he
Mhm.
knows how to creatively put something together. But at the same time, what ALEXSOY brings to his camp is that I'm like, instead of charging X amount, you should charge X amount. And here's why. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Same way that earlier when we had a conversation, I was telling you, you know, instead of you feeling like there is anything that you can pay to bring your talent forward, if anything, people that work with you should find a way to contract you and bring you money and bring you the royalties. So the music industry is such it's like there's two ways to think about it.
It's a beast of an industry.
Right, because you're either extremely creative and you only focus on the art, or you're super business minded and you only think about how to make money in it.
Yeah.
And if you are able to find somebody that contrasts that with you, where it's like creative money, because you have to pay bills at the end of the day. So I really do appreciate that intake on the creative side of the industry, because in my channel, what I mostly literally talk about is how to monetize a music career.
Hmm.
That's my passion, actually, on how to monetize something that's already being created in the back end,
Yeah.
taking it forward, monetizing it, and having it give you income for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
At your skill, where because you're such a good singer, there is no doubt that your skill can take you into a different level. And there is also no doubt that your skill can take you into a way of teaching other people how to do what you do and monetizing it.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate your time, Paola. I really thank you for giving us these gems. Can you give me one last gem to vocal recording artists? What do they need to do before a vocal recording session?
Oh, like my vocal coach would kill me if I didn't say this, but it is vocal care. Like that is going to
Really?
be the most important thing.
Break it
Like
down. What is vocal care?
vocal care, so that's like just the overall health of your voice. So like if you saw me, I was drinking coconut water. Coconut water has electrolytes that help hydrate your voice. Imagine you like in, especially in Phoenix, in this desert, like you're sweating so much, you're so dry, the allergens come up, whatever it is. If you're trying to sing on a dry throat, it's not going to sound great. You have to be hydrated. You have to be doing.
Hmm.
I have like my humidifier here. It's been helping me a lot with healing from my surgery, but a humidifier is great to sleep with to moisten your vocal cords. Warm ups. Warm ups are so, so, so important. And they can be as simple as just doing
Really?
just to get the vocal cords warm. You're
Mm.
not like, like I said earlier, you're not just gonna go walk into the
You're
gym and
not
try.
a robot, like.
Yeah, you're not a robot. Nothing's gonna be perfect. Like that's what like is so special and unique about music that and singing, because it's such a raw individual talent that like there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be things that change, there's going to be differences, but you have to make sure that you're always taking care of the overall health of your voice. It's
Absolutely.
like putting your seatbelt on before you start driving. It's like
Mm.
a safety as well. So
Mm.
vocal care, honey water, warm honey water,
Does that
super.
work? I've been
Yes,
doing that for the longest, but I don't know if it works or not.
it does. Sometimes at shows when I start like towards like the maybe like the second hour, when I start feeling like real dry or like okay, I'm getting real, I will take honey and just squirt it right into my mouth,
Right,
like
right, right. Yeah.
right into my mouth, and it
Okay.
helps everything. Um uh tea like an actual like bag of tea if you're really mucusy, because tea dries you out. It's a big misconception that if you're feeling dry, drink tea. They're thinking it's gonna like moisten their throat, but it has caffeine in it. Usually, it has caffeine in it, but tea dehydrates you. That's what's gonna help the mucus dry up. So that's why you drink a lot of tea when you're very sick. Um,
Mm.
a lot
This
of
is
phlegm.
damn, but like I'm getting gems right now.
But if you are very dry, just some honey water and anything with electrolytes. I even have like a little electrolyte powder that tastes like lemonade, that's sugar free.
Mm.
My water bottle, I'll drink that. You have to make sure you're getting your electrolytes in. And a steam inhaler. Steam inhaler is great. Or sometimes I like bringing my phone with me. I have a little stand in my shower, and I'll bring my phone with me into the shower, because I take burning hot showers. If it's not 1,000 degrees, I will not do it. And do some vocal warm-ups in the shower. So even if you don't have a steam inhaler, do some vocal warm-ups in the shower. It helps open up any like phlegm or ickies that you have in your chest. It'll get it right out and help open you up and warm up your throat a lot.
Wow, I really appreciate those gems. Seriously,
Mm-hmm.
seriously. Like I've done so many performances out here, big ones that people counted money on, and I never did any warm-ups. I
Yeah.
actually just went out there with my freaking face and said, "This is me." Terrible idea. I
Yeah.
appreciate those. I definitely will let you know how they work on me.
Okay.
Paula, it
You
has been a
gotta be
extreme.
consistent.
You said what?
You gotta be consistent.
Okay, I can do that. I'm very
Good.
consistent.
Good.
Paula, it really has been a pleasure to have you this first
So,
time dropping these gems, letting people know about your experience in the music industry. Um, just a quick background. I've actually been learning about Paola's music journey about a year ago. I saw you about a year ago when I first moved into Phoenix. Um, I learned about your music and I saw you online and I was like she's got something going on. I know that we've been talking a while about getting a record done. So I really hope that in the future we can get something done. You have an
we,
incredible voice.
thank you.
I really appreciate your time. And if there is anything else that you can tell a beginning artist right now, whether it's I know that you're actually very it's interesting because you target a lot of what I did not target at the beginning of my career. What I did not target was how to become good at singing.
Yeah.
I was targeting literally something else.
You have to have a good product to then be able to sell it.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. And so as I know that you've already said it, but just once again, if there's one tip that you can give to an artist that's starting today, would it be now that you experience what it's like to like I've seen you sing in a lot of stages. I've seen you put your heart out and it takes physical work to get into those stages. It's not just like you show up like at least for me, it's literally setting up my entire band, coordinating everybody, making sure everybody's there on time, and then I'm good, and then I'm not stressed, and then it's so many things. But for a beginning artist nowadays in 2025, 2024 that we're about to go into the next year, what can you tell people that are just beginning right now in their music career? How can they truly start their music career? Is it focusing on developing their skill? Is it marketing the skill? Or is it just putting out what they got right now?
Yeah, I would say like it's like a back and forth because there's a lot of people that are really, really talented and nobody's heard of them. But then there's also people that like, people I'm like, why are you famous? Like, why are you getting all these Grammys? And it's because they have a big team behind them that know the business side because like essentially the music industry is a business and everybody's trying to make money and everybody's trying to push their own product. So I think to be like the most balanced, like you do have to have a really, really solid product. And with singers, it is their voice. You have to make sure that you're taking care of it. You have to make sure that you're um you know being creative, that you have like a creativity that's maybe different or a sound that's different from other people, setting yourself apart. A big thing that I kind of did in like early days, and I feel like I'm still trying to do is kind of figure out who I am as an artist. Like what is it, what sound is it that I want people to associate with me, what look do I want people to associate with me. Another kind of cool tip is like if you're trying to figure out like your look as an artist, like there's this like Halloween costume like theory where like that you've become like really iconic and like a persona when people can dress up like you for Halloween. So like
Mm, no
like for
way. Holy
yeah, so,
shit.
like
Never thought about that.
yeah, so I mean like if you think about like Ariana Grande, like I know she has a bunch of different eras, but everybody's gonna do a high ponytail. The meeting I think is going to end in like 10 minutes, but so with Ariana Grande, everybody is going to do a high ponytail and some sort of chunky heel and maybe like a cute
A
dress.
skirt. Why skirt?
Just because she has like a lot of like she had like an era where she wore like baby doll dresses, and so that was just very connected to her, or like something very oversized, like she would wear something very oversized. So she would even like have her like sleeves come up like to kind of like hide her hands, and that's how like oversized it was. So just like having a very iconic look and figuring out like, okay, how is it that I want to be represented, to then just being honestly like, not, you talked about fear a little bit like that, and just like I know that like you can't have that fear, and like you have to be able to push yourself out of your comfort zone. But I know I still struggle with like stage fright really, really bad. And it's something that I'm like, am I going to let this stop me from doing something that I really, really love? And I still hear from like other like interviews with like famous artists that like they still get nervous when they go on stage, but you
Yeah.
have to change the idea of like anxiety and excitement are like in the same part of the brain. It just depends on how you interpret it. And that's something I'm trying to like rewire in my brain so that it's like I'm not scared, I'm just so excited. I'm not scared, I'm not nervous, I'm just so excited. And to push myself to be able to then just do the best performance that I can, and just not being too hard on yourself, because it's
Right.
like no matter what, even a failure is a lesson learned.
I feel like if anything, like with that feeling of like anxiety, enjoy that as much as you can. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually it's an amazing thing to be able to feel that edgy feeling. Like, holy shit, I'm about to do something that I'm scared of doing.
But it
Or
means you can.
exactly. And if you just like when I think about performing, actual performance, because to be honest, music has came to a point for somebody like me where I could not do performance forever and still have a music career. But
Yeah.
that's the crazy part about it. That when I put myself, like for example, right now, um, I don't know if this is the first time I'm saying it on YouTube because this is where it's gonna go. I'm performing, and Paula, you and I are talking about performing for the halftime show of the Phoenix Suns. Right?
Mhm.
Do I think about that performance and do I'm like, holy shit, I'm like, I need to be my best? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think of that. Nonetheless, what I mostly think about is about being comfortable, be myself,
Hmm.
and being as me as much as I can possibly be, because people will relate to that.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. You know, making sure that you have that unique persona unlocked and that you feel super comfortable with you are with who you are is a excuse me, extremely high key that you should focus on at the beginning of your career.
Yes.
Me, me, if you tell me what's the first thing that I need to focus on at the beginning of my career, for some reason, monetization comes to mind. Like I've always thought about it this way. Um, and that's actually a different topic to go into
Mm-hmm.
in the next few videos because this is just our first video, Paula.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your time. I see you repping the Mexican shirt. Don't think didn't see it the entire time.
I know it's kind of like cut off, but I have a Brazil one too. I got two sides to me.
Next time I see you pulling the Mexican one. Next time you go ahead and pull the Brazilian one. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
Paula, thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity.
It's our pleasure. Where can they find you?
So I have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Paola G official, Paola G official on everything. And yeah, I just really, I like I've always said, it's just a journey that I'm on, and I hope people like to join the ride and see where I go.
I, as ALEXSOY, highly recommend that you follow Paula's journey. I am extremely amazed by your journey. And
Thanks.
when I got here to Phoenix, like I said, I was looking for Latino artists to follow and I want to follow your journey. And I've been following your journey for quite some time. I was there from when you dropped a record with Joel, right? Like
Mhm.
a year ago. And then I reach out to you, and then you're going through your own personal development as an artist.
Mhm.
I just want you to know that really, as a community, we're here for you. As a Latino community, anybody that represents ALEXSOY music, if you represent me, you know that I represent development of artists. And Paula G, you have our support.
Thank you. That means the absolute world. That's like all I've ever wanted.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.